Hi, I'm Jason Leahy with the Illinois Principals Association. Welcome to this edition of IPA Talk, and I'm fortunate to have with me the 2018-2019 President of the Association, Mr. Jeff Knapp. It's kind of become a routine for us here every year as we get started to bring the President on, and first say congratulations.
Thank you.
Winning the election, and look forward to working with you this year in your capacity as President. But first, just want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, Jeff, and let people know who you are and where you're from, those kinds of things.
So my name is Jeff Knapp. I'm very excited to be the 2018-19 president of the Illinois Principals Association. I'm currently a principal up at Rockland School in Libertyville and have had a lot of great experiences that have led me to this point. I'm a graduate of the University of Illinois down in Urbana-Champaign and have done several jobs coming out that have kind of led me to the principalship here in Libertyville, and started in Grays Lake and was a middle school teacher in Grays Lake as team leader and did the athletic director and helped to run summer school, and eventually got into the assistant principalship role in Grays Lake and ended up going into the elementary and worked there for 6 years at Woodview School in Grays Lake before I've now come down to Rockland for the last 7 years.
And you're kind of in enemy territory up there. And let me explain. Jeff, you're a big Cardinals fan like me,
Indeed.
That had no bearing on your election. Let's just make that really clear. But you got a lot of Cubs fans and a few Sox fans where you are up in Lake County on the north side of the city.
I do. And real quick story. So unfortunately, when the Cubs won the World Series, I may have made a friendly wager with our staff and ended up having to kiss a goat in front of the whole student population.
I remember that.
Yeah, that tended to make the rounds. So we're excited that the Cardinals are back, though, and hopefully it'll be a friendly rivalry going forward.
Yeah, you bet. So talk to us a little bit, Jeff, as you think about the principalship right now, things that you're dealing with, things you see your colleagues dealing with. What do you think's really on the minds of school leaders?
Yeah, the job is definitely challenging on a day-to-day basis. I think that's part of what being a leader in the state of Illinois, I think that's what we need to embrace is the uniqueness of the job, and every day when we come in, it's something a little bit different. I know that more recently, as principals, have been dealing a lot with budgeting issues. We've been dealing a lot with, ongoing school safety concerns, and, these are on top of our everyday, evaluations and the regular day-to-day parts of the job of making sure that we're present, being with students, being with our staffs, and just being great leaders. And I feel like that's what we need to continue to push for as the IPA is we do such a great job offering so many services to our members, great professional development, that it really excites me going into this year to be able to offer these to all of my colleagues across the state of Illinois.
Talk about how you got involved with the association. I think people wonder that sometimes and would like to but don't know how, or concerned. Want to be very careful about how they put themselves out there, and just take this as a moment to say this is an open invitation for anyone to call the office at any time, talk to me or someone here on staff if you're interested in getting engaged. But can you share with us your story of what brought you to this point to be able to serve in this important leadership position?
Well, and I think it's a great question. Is how do you get involved initially? And luckily, I had a great principal that tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I think you'd be great to get involved in this organization." And ironically, I was in classes to be a school counselor while I was teaching, and really, this principal helped kind of guide me down the path of school administration. So, got me going to region meetings, and I think that's where it all kind of helped develop, is building great collaborative relationships with my peers in the Lake region, and now over the past, I've probably been on the IPA executive board down here at the state level for, 7-8 years. Right. And doing this job has now put me in touch with those from across the state. And I've really, really enjoyed getting down to Springfield and meeting up with principals who aren't from the suburbs, who are down from the southern, the eastern, the western parts of the state. We're all dealing with similar problems. They might look a little bit different, and our resources might look a little bit different, but in the end, we're here for our colleagues, for our teachers, and for our students.
So obviously, as President Jeff, and even your role this past school year as President-elect, you've had an opportunity to do some unique things. One of those, obviously, is traveling out east, advocating on behalf of Illinois school leaders in D.C. at the Capitol. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about those experiences, what you're hearing from colleagues across the country, and just also your time at the Capitol?
Yeah, it was an incredible experience to be able to go in March out to Washington, D.C., and it was my first time being I guess you could say, a true advocate on Capitol Hill. Had 3 great days of meetings, kind of prepping and preparing, and our IPA staff does a great job. Allison Maley really sat down, and we kind of went through what some of our talking points were going to be, and then actually getting onto Capitol Hill. We spent a lot of time leading up to that, talking with the state of Kentucky, talking with the state of Indiana, it's all about relationships to me. Is forming those relationships as we get ready and prepare, and then we get onto Capitol Hill. Yeah. And I believe we talked to 4 representatives, talked to Senator Durbin's office and Senator Duckworth's office, and really spent time talking about title funding and talking about school safety. And what I was most impressed with was the ability of those who are elected to turn around and ask us, hey, what's it really like? Yeah. Walk us through what you're dealing with. And, I would encourage everyone from across the state. They're very interested in what we're doing, and we ended each conversation with, please come out and visit our schools. And I think that's a big part of the principalship, is we need to be comfortable for those who are going to be making some of these big decisions in our schools, getting them out and actually seeing firsthand what our teachers, what our students, what our principals are dealing with and working with.
Well, and so, obviously we due to Allison's leadership, have an outstanding Principal for a Day program inviting legislators in. And I think often we think of state legislators and inviting them, don't always think about our members of Congress or even our 2 senators doing that. And so I would encourage people to also to reach out to our federal legislators and say, hey, come on in here and let's see really what's happening. Because I would say, Jeff, this last trip out east was a little bit different in its tenor, because they passed the big omnibus bill, and we've got title funding and a variety of good things that did occur in that, versus before, where it was many years of continuing resolutions and no budget and our spending plan and all of that. And so I'm glad we had that opportunity to share our appreciation on the other side of this thing as well, which is great. So just to kind of wrap things up, Jeff, obviously one of the primary responsibilities of President is also to oversee planning for our fall conference, which we've got coming up here in October. Really, as always, excited about that, bringing school leaders for that opportunity of learning, but maybe more importantly, community building and letting just school leaders be together and encourage one another, commiserate a little bit, those kinds of things. So just share a little bit from your perspective. What do we got in store here coming up in a few months?
Yeah, I'm excited, and let this be another official invitation. We're looking to make this the best principal conference that we can in October. We'll be back down in Springfield. Really excited. I feel like we've opened up a lot of different avenues down there, and it's become a great place in October. We'll hope for some good weather here coming up.
Better than this past spring, right?
Exactly. That makes it a little bit easier. But, the theme of the conference this year is going to be Lead the Way. And, through working with our committee, as we've put together what we feel like is going to be, an amazing conference for all the principals, we want principals to be always thinking about, what that roadmap looks like. And when we talk about leading the way, we're talking about leading the way in our buildings, with our teachers, with our students, even with our parents and with our community. We had 75 different session proposals that were turned in. So our committee has worked very hard, and I feel like you're going to get great professional development, but most importantly, you're going to get a great opportunity to collaborate with principals from across the state. We've got some great receptions planned, and some amazing speakers. I mean, you talk about Kim Bearden from the co-founder of the Ron Clark Academy, Joe Sanfilippo. I know that people are going to be excited to come down and to hear and to learn and to bring things directly back to their building.
Yeah, and we're going to give attendees both of their books, each of them. I think Kim, actually, it'll be one that she's in, maybe even in process right now, getting printed and put out there for publication. So we'll get that one kind of hot off the presses. A couple of other things, Jeff, that come to mind for this too, as we talk about community building, which I think is so critical, and I think as an association we'll be focusing more and more on that as the years go by. But the other one is just about wellness and staying fit as a school leader, and so one of the things that we're still nailing down some things with regards to wellness. But one thing that we do have locked in is bringing in the Sangamon County Health Department and making flu shots available for everybody. So we'll put more information out about that and how people can get one if they'd like to. We know we had a lot of that. It was pretty rampant this past year. I don't know how my family missed it. We usually, if it's within 100 miles, one of the kids is catching it. But we've got that, and also along the wellness theme, in addition to the golf tournament, which has been a long-standing part of conference that will happen at the Rail, we also are going to have our first 5K out at Washington Park here. So really excited about that. Excellent. I'll probably be watching and waving as people are running by. So going to be a fun event. Have the reception at the Abraham Lincoln Museum again this year, and a Night of Stars on Monday night. So going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be great. I hope everyone can make it.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff Knapp, going to be the 2018-19 president here of the Illinois Principals Association. Thanks for a little bit of time. Sure appreciate
Jason.
that. My pleasure. My pleasure. Again, I'm Jason Leahy, Executive Director of the Illinois Principals Association. As always, if there's anything that we can do for you, never hesitate to give us a call here, and always can check us out on the web at ilprincipals.org. And don't forget to push the buttons here on the screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel or check out some other content that we've got for you. Take care.